Chapter 4. Mournful Day. There laid Andy, barely alive. He had a fresh stab wound on the left side of his chest. He was bleeding on the ground. Claus kneeled next to him, shocked at what was laying before him. "Margaret! Keep Melody and Felix from the barn," Claus shouted as he picked up Andy and ran to the barn doors. Andy weakly glanced behind him and Claus, to see Peter in the darkness. "See you soon." Peter disappears back into the darkness of the barn. The others watched fearfully as Claus carries the dying teen out of the barn and to the house. "Oh my God! What happened to him?" Margaret exclaimed as they reached the house. "I don't know, but he's severely injured." "Can you treat his wound?" Claus asked Margaret, as he laid Andy down in his room. "I'll try, but can you calm Melody and Felix, please?" Margaret replied as she walked to a cabinet in the next room. "All right." Claus agreed as he went to the main room and tried to keep Melody and Felix calm. "Claus, is Andy going to die?" Melody asked while tears flowed gently down her face. Claus pulled Melody and Felix into a hug. "I can't say for sure, but we know Andy. He won't just give in." "I'm sorry, Andy." Melody whispered. "I'm so sorry. I didn't want you to get hurt." Felix whispered as he cried. Claus tried to keep the two calm despite his own anger and guilt for participating in putting Andy in the barn. He thought it would be like a somewhat harmless joke, not something that would almost kill his best friend. While Claus was calming Melody and Felix as promised, Margaret was trying to keep calm while tending to Andy's wound. Even though it took her a couple of hours, she cleaned and carefully stitched the wound, then carefully bandaged the wound. "I'm sorry." She sat in a chair near Andy's bedside and watched over him until she couldn't keep her eyes open, so she went to find Claus. "Hey, Claus," she said to get his attention, finding him tucking in Felix, who was asleep. "Yes, Margaret?" he asked, leaving the sleeping kid's room, shutting the door behind him. "Can you watch over Andy for a while?" Margaret asked Claus as she yawned. "I'll watch over him. Now you go on and get some sleep, all right?" Margaret looked like she could fall asleep while standing up. "All right, and thank you for getting the other two asleep." Claus walked to Andy's room as Margaret walked to hers. Claus sat down in the chair near Andy's bedside and looked at the dying teen. He didn't think no, he knew the kid wouldn't live to see the next morning. Claus got up and tucked in Andy, remembering when he used to wake up in the middle of the night to see a much younger Andy asleep on the floor near his bed because he had a nightmare. He remembered all the times he had to get Andy out of the trees because he was too scared to climb down. He remembered cheering him whenever he got hurt, but now it was him who needed someone to cheer him up. "I'm terribly sorry, Andy." He started to read a book when he heard coughing. He turned to see Andy trying to get up despite his severe pain. "Hey, lay back down please, Andy. You might reopen your wound." "Claus." The weak apple tried to speak. "Yes, that's right. It's me, Andy." Claus tried to stay calm. What happened?" "We don't know, but you're severely injured." "Where are the others?" Andy weakly asked. Claus looked out the window. "They are asleep, Andy. It's about 1:30 in the morning." "Why are you up?" "To watch over you, so Margaret could sleep. She went to bed about an hour ago." Andy coughed again. Oh. He looked at Claus. "Claus." "Yes, Andy?" Could you go get my old toy?" Claus paused. "The one Margaret made for you? I thought you got rid of it." Claus found the doll and sat it near Andy. There you go. Thanks. Claus faced towards the window. He wanted to cry, now knowing he would be the last one that Andy would ever talk to. Andy noticed his friend was sad. Are you okay? Claus noticed that Andy was trying to sit up. Andy, you should dash. I know. But I wanted to give you a hug. Okay. Claus shakenly said as he walked over and accepted his dying friend's hug. As Andy hugged his shaken friend, he felt a severe sharp pain in his chest. I'm almost out of time. I need to warn him about Peter. He thought. Claus, listen to me. Yes, Andy. I'll be fine. But promise that you guys stay safe. I promise, Andy. Andy smiled. I'll see you guys soon. Andy closed his eyes and his strength faded away as his body went limp. Andy? Silence. Claus cried as he hugged his friend's limp body. The complete reality had hit him. Andy was gone.